In today's unpredictable world, being prepared isn't just smart, it's essential. Whether it's a sudden power outage, a natural disaster, or an unexpected emergency, having a plan can make all the difference. In this video, we'll walk you through practical tips, must-have supplies, and strategies to keep you and your loved ones safe and ready for anything. From creating an emergency kit to staying informed, we've got you covered. Let's dive in and empower you to face any challenge with confidence and peace of mind. 1. Home security, hardening your home. Emergencies like blackouts push every home security to the limit. When streets go dark, opportunistic criminals see an easy target. Your job? Make breaking into your house a nightmare they don't even want to start. Here's how to harden your home by addressing major vulnerabilities. 1. Reinforcing doors. Your door isn't just an entrance, it's a prime target. Flimsy hardware makes their job easier. First, ditch the weak strike plate that probably came with your door. Replace it with a reinforced model that screws directly into the door frame's 3-inch screws. Why? They bite deep into the studs and anchor your door so it can stand up against violent kicking or prying. Next, slap on a grade 1 deadbolt. No! Your basic deadbolt from the hardware store won't cut it. Grade 1 models are tested to withstand brute force and picking attempts. This is non-negotiable for doors facing the outdoors. Criminals want an easy in and out job. A beefed up lock tells them to try elsewhere. Your bottom line? A door is only as strong as its weakest point. A strong frame, reinforced strike plate, and high-grade locks make busting through it loud, time-consuming, and downright unappealing. 2. Securing windows. Windows might seem like secondary considerations, but they're a thief's shortcut if not secured. Glass breaks easily. You don't need a professional to tell you that. Applying a thick security film buys you precious time. This film acts like a glue holding shattered glass together, even after being struck multiple times. It's not impenetrable, but it delays anyone trying to smash their way inside. Another layer of defense, security bars for your ground floor windows. Sure, they're not the prettiest addition, but they are among the most effective. Ground floors are criminals' first choice, and bars make smashing a window completely useless. For aesthetics, some bars are designed to be decorative or retractable, but don't skimp on strength to preserve appearances. If you aren't ready for bars, look into window alarms that emit a loud, piercing sound when the glass vibrates. Criminals hate attracting attention, and a blaring siren is the fastest way to make them bolt. Effective window security doesn't sacrifice practicality for convenience. You need to make windows a hassle, hard to shatter and harder to get through. 3. Fortifying the garage. Garages are a gold mine for determined thieves. They're quiet, secluded, and often lead straight into your home. Most people think their garage door opener is security enough. It's not. Start by reinforcing your door with a garage defender or a C-clamp. These simple devices lock the door in place, making forced entry nearly impossible. They cost less than a dinner out, but can save you a fortune in losses. Don't just stop at the big door. How about that dinky inner door leading into your home? For many, it's hollow and fragile. Replace it with a solid core door equipped with a deadbolt lock. Treat this door no differently than your front door. Lastly, fix a motion sensor or alarm inside your garage. If someone manages to get in, you want to know immediately. Noise and light are your ultimate deterrents. Smart systems can even send alerts right to your phone so you can act fast. Garages are often overlooked, but remember, they're also a holding ground for tools and expensive equipment. Harden it with layers of defense, not just one shiny gadget. 4. Enhancing visibility. Visibility is your secret weapon. Criminals love the dark because it hides their movements. Want to ruin their plans? Light them up. Install solar-powered motion-sensing lights outside your home. These lights don't rely on the power grid, so even during blackouts, they work like a charm. Place them strategically over entryways, near windows, and in dark corners of your property. Blackout curtains are another non-negotiable. They do more than just keep out prying eyes during regular days. During emergencies, they prevent criminals from peering in to assess resources like flashlights, food storage, or valuables. What thieves can't see, they can't plan to take. Last but not least, trim your landscaping. Overgrown bushes and trees create hiding spots. Keep shrubs low and far from windows. If you have a tree near an upstairs window, cut those branches back. Don't give anyone a ladder straight into your home. Making visibility a deterrent isn't about aesthetics. It's about destroying the anonymity criminals rely on. Keep your home in the spotlight, literally. 5. Building a layered defense. Here's the cold, hard truth. No single security measure will fully protect your home. Criminals are persistent and creative. The solution? Layered defense. Think of your home as a fortress. Harden the perimeter by securing fences, locking gates, and adding motion-triggered alarms. Inside, hide your valuables. Don't leave them lying around where anyone can spot them through a window. Invest in lockable storage for everything you'd hate to lose. Never assume someone can't get past your first line of defense. It happens all the time. Your lighting strategy should also work in your favor. Combine outdoor visibility tools like motion-sensing lights with an indoor light timer. Sudden movements outside will trigger lights, but set a few lamps to flick on indoors at random intervals to make it seem like someone's home. Finally, make your home look like a bad time. A beware of dog sign, even without the dog, is often enough to spook someone. A few visible cameras or even decoys, same deal. They're intimidating. Setting up layers slows criminals down and increases their risk of getting caught. The harder you make it, the quicker they'll move on. 2. Food storage. Building a stockpile. When blackouts hit and emergencies drag on, the last thing you want is to panic over an empty pantry. Building a reliable food stockpile isn't about surviving just one tough night. It's about ensuring you and your family can eat, stay healthy, and remain self-reliant for weeks or even months. Below, we break down exactly what to stock and why. Forget the fluff. This is what works. 1. Stocking staples. Staples are the backbone of any long-term food stockpile. If what you're storing isn't versatile or lacks an extended shelf life, you're wasting your time and space. Start with foundational items like white rice, beans, lentils, and oats. They store easily, provide ample calories, and are as simple as food gets. Pack these items into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and seal them tightly inside food-grade buckets. Done right, they'll last decades. Why focus on staples? They're nutritious, filling, and affordable. A 50-pound bag of rice can give you hundreds of meals for a fraction of the cost of pre-made emergency food kits. But don't just dump these supplies on a shelf and forget about them. If pests or humidity get in, your entire stockpile can become useless. Invest in proper storage. Sealed, dry, and cool is non-negotiable. These staples are your lifeline during a long-term crisis. They're basic, not exciting, but they ensure no one in your household is going hungry when access to fresh groceries comes to a halt. 2. Adding variety. Now that you've got the basics down, it's time to think beyond bland survival mode. Variety in your food stockpile isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Eating the same thing repeatedly leads to food fatigue. This isn't just a fancy term, it's a real issue that can mess with your morale and even your health in a prolonged emergency. Canned meats, fish, vegetables, and fruits should be staples in your pantry. Think of shelf-stable options like tuna, chicken, green beans, or peaches. Add freeze-dried meals for some on-the-go flexibility. These meals may cost more, but they'll save you mental energy when cooking isn't an option. Beyond the essentials, stock morale boosters, coffee, tea, honey, chocolate, and sugar might seem non-essential now, but when normalcy is gone, these items feel priceless. Fancy a cup of coffee when life's gone sideways? You'll thank that stockpile. Variety also keeps your meals nutritionally balanced. Relying solely on rice and beans isn't sustainable long-term. Incorporating protein, fiber, and some comfort foods keeps your body and your spirit in better shape. 3. Ensuring nutrition. Survival isn't just about filling your stomach, it's about staying healthy. A stockpile without proper nutrition is a slow spiral into vitamin and mineral deficiencies. That's a problem you don't need in a crisis. First, multivitamins are your insurance policy. When fresh produce becomes a distant memory, these tiny pills step in to bridge the gap. They're not optional, they're a must. Keep at least a year's supply for everyone in your household. Salt, pepper, and spices might seem like extras, but they're critical. Bland food quickly becomes intolerable. Stock spices that you'll actually use, whether it's chili powder, garlic, salt, or cinnamon. A well-seasoned meal isn't just more enjoyable, it helps you keep eating consistently, which is critical during stressful times. Lastly, it's smart to think of your stored foods as customizable. Some basic prep, a pinch of salt here, a dash of spice there, goes a long way in boosting flavor and, by extension, morale. Nutrition isn't just about calories, it's about giving your body what it truly needs to function effectively. 4. Practicing rotation. Building a stockpile is one thing. Keeping it fresh and usable, that's an entirely different game. If rotation isn't part of your plan, you'll end up wasting food and money. The rule is simple but absolute. First in, first out. First, your oldest items always get used first, while new additions go to the back of the pantry. Practicing rotation isn't just about keeping things fresh. It teaches you to use your stockpile regularly, turning these stores from just-in-case supplies into a seamless part of your routine. Know what else that does? It shows you which items work and which don't. If you can't stand the taste of canned peaches now, you won't like them during a crisis either. Practice eating what you've stored to ensure your family likes it and knows how to prepare it. Mark expiration dates clearly and perform regular inventory checks. This doesn't have to be complicated. Just check products once a month and replace anything nearing its expiration date. Anything outdated or spoiled is wasted potential. Keeping everything in active rotation ensures your stockpile is fresh, reliable, and ready whenever disaster strikes. Preparing barter items. When emergencies stretch out, cash might not be worth much. Supplies become currency, and you'll want items in your stockpile that aren't just for your own use, but can also be traded. Sugar, honey, chocolate, coffee, and similar goods are high-value commodities when comfort and convenience are rare. Why these items? They're universally appreciated and hard to replicate without proper production. Offering someone a bar of chocolate or a jar of honey could get them to part with something crucial you need. This isn't about exploitative trading. It's about leveraging value to fill gaps in your own supplies. Aside from consumable goods, think about durable items, extra lighters, matches, or small bottles of alcohol for sterilizing or drinking. Can become valuable trade items. Keep these in separate reserves so you aren't tempted to dip into your personal stash. Keep in mind that barter during a crisis carries risks. Being discreet is key. You don't want to advertise your stockpile, but having extra goods that others are desperate for elevates your self-sufficiency to a whole new level. 0. 3. Water security, storing and purifying water. When emergencies and blackouts hit, water becomes the most critical resource to secure. Without a reliable water supply, you're vulnerable, and that's a risk no one can afford. Whether you're dealing with a day-long outage or a weeks-long disaster, knowing how to store, filter, and access safe drinking water is non-negotiable. Below, we break down exactly what you need to do to ensure you'll always have clean water. Number water storage. First things first, storage is king. The absolute minimum you need is 1 gallon of water per person per day. But here's the reality. That's only going to cover drinking. If you want water for cooking, cleaning, or minimal hygiene, you're looking at 2 gallons per person per day at least. Plan for a 2-week supply at a bare minimum. This isn't a matter of buying cases of bottled water and calling it a day. While bottled water is an option, it's limited, expensive, and takes up massive amounts of space. A smarter approach? Invest in food-grade water storage containers. These are specifically designed to store water safely for months without contamination. Rotation is key to keeping your stored water fresh. Even properly stored water should be rotated every 6 to 12 months. Mark the containers with the date they were filled and avoid the "I'll remember" approach. You won't. Storage isn't just about quantity, it's about location too. Store water in cool, dark places to prevent bacterial growth and algae proliferation. Basement? Perfect. Left in direct sunlight like your garage? Forget it. To stay prepared, your stores should be consistent, clean, and ready for use at a moment's notice. 2. Purification methods. Stored water runs out eventually, and in long-term emergencies, you'll need a way to make other water sources safe. This is where purification methods come in. The gold standard? High-quality filters like Sawyer, LifeStraw, or Berkey systems. These options remove harmful bacteria, protozoa, and in many cases even viruses. Invest in a hospital stay later. Filters aren't the only tool in your arsenal. Tablets like AquaTabs or Katadyn MicroPure are lightweight and travel-friendly. These chemical purifiers kill microorganisms and make water drinkable within 30 minutes, but they can leave an aftertaste. No tablets, unscented household bleach will do the job. Add 2 drops per quart, stir well, and wait 30 minutes. Have backups for your backups, because when one system fails, you don't want a crisis turning into a catastrophe. Lastly, don't underestimate boiling water. It's primitive and time-consuming, but incredibly effective. Bring water to a rolling boil for 1 full minute, 3 at higher altitudes, and you've killed off virtually every pathogen. Boiling can't remove chemical contaminants, but for biological threats, it's foolproof. Preparedness is about redundancy. Don't rely on just one purification method. Diversify your options and ensure you have portable solutions for when mobility is required. 3. Identifying water sources. What happens when your stored water runs out and you're left scavenging for options? You'll need to know where to find water locally and fast. Start with rivers, lakes, or ponds in your area. Pools can work in a pinch, but they're loaded with chemicals, so proceed cautiously. Your home isn't off limits either. Your water heater often contains dozens of gallons of potable water, and those little-known water reserves can become your ace in the hole. Set yourself up for success by identifying alternative water sources near your home before disaster strikes. Don't wait until the taps run dry to come up with a plan. Walk your property and neighborhood and take inventory of available bodies of water. Keep in mind that stagnant water is more hazardous than running water. Rainwater harvesting systems can make a huge difference, especially during longer emergencies. All you need is a tarp, a collection barrel, and some basic setup knowledge. Rainwater, while far from pure, is plentiful and easy to treat. One important caveat here: don't assume any water is safe, no matter how clean it looks. A sparkling stream can carry animal waste, bacteria, or pesticides. Identifying sources is step 1. Making them drinkable comes next. 4. Water treatment. Never assume water is safe to drink. Even water from the cleanest looking source can hide invisible killers like E. coli, Giardia, or parasites. Every drop of water you collect must be treated before consumption. Your treatment plan should vary depending on the level of contamination. Fresh from the filter needs to be filtered before treating. Pre-filter it through a cloth or coffee filter to remove particles. Afterward, use one of the purification methods we discussed earlier. For chemical contamination, think pesticides or industrial runoff, your options dwindle. Reverse osmosis filters can handle some chemicals, but unless you're running a full-scale operation, avoiding chemically contaminated water is your safest bet. Keep your tools handy, always carry purification tablets in your bug-out bag, and store bleach in your home's emergency supplies. When boiling, always err on the side of caution. A little extra time on the stove won't hurt, but cutting corners could. Remember, untreated water can look perfectly safe, but harbor deadly pathogens. Skipping water treatment in an emergency isn't just reckless, it's life-threatening. 4. Power solutions. Staying powered during blackouts. When the power goes out, life doesn't pause. Whether it's for a few hours or several days, being left in the dark without reliable energy backups is a recipe for chaos. You don't need a complex setup to stay powered, just a smart, well-thought-out plan. This post will guide you through practical and achievable strategies for powering your essential devices during blackouts. 1. Charging battery banks. Battery banks are your first line of defense for keeping critical devices powered when the electricity fails. At a minimum, you need enough portable power to keep your phone, small lights, and a radio running. Without these, you're cut off from communication, navigation, and the ability to light your way. Invest in high-capacity battery banks and keep them charged at all times. This is not negotiable. When the lights go out, half charged doesn't cut it. Modern power banks are capable of holding enough energy to recharge your smartphone multiple times. However, don't stop at one. You're going to need a few to cover extended blackouts, especially if more than one person in your household relies on them. Make sure to buy high-quality, reliable brands. Bargain options with poor charge retention are a waste of both space and money. Here's the most critical advice. Don't get complacent. Check your battery banks regularly. Power them up every couple of months, even when you haven't used them, to make sure they're ready to go. Pair these banks with USB-powered essentials like headlamps, which are incredibly efficient and versatile for low-energy emergencies. Finally, keep your charging cables and adapters packed together with your battery bank so you don't waste time scrambling in the dark. Organization and preparation ensure your battery banks are an effective go-to solution during blackouts. 2. Using solar generators. Solar generators should be top of mind when you want reliable and sustainable backup power. Unlike gas-powered options, which are noisy, smelly, and dangerous indoors, solar generators operate silently and can be used safely inside. Brands like Jackery or EcoFlow are excellent choices. These units combine a portable battery solution with solar panel compatibility, giving you power independence when outages extend into days. The appeal of solar generators is their ability to charge indefinitely, provided you have sunlight and panels on hand. Want to power a fridge, charge laptops, run a fan? These systems can handle more than just phones, but don't confuse capabilities with unlimited power. They have their limits, and you need to size your generator properly for your actual needs. Before buying, check the inverter size and battery capacity. Most people look at wattage, but ignore watt hours, a far more accurate measurement of how long your generator can sustain power. For instance, if an appliance uses 500 watts and the system stores 1,000 watt hours, you'll get roughly 2 hours of operation. Always match your purchase with your specific usage. The quiet, clean functionality of solar generators is their selling point. But don't forget the panels themselves. They won't work without efficient solar input, and you'll need panels that can recharge your system quickly. Place them in direct sunlight at optimal angles, and keep them clean for maximum efficiency. Solar generators might cost more upfront, but their versatility and long-term capability pay dividends, making them one of the smartest power solutions for emergencies. 3. Conducting a power audit. Blindly plugging things in during a blackout is how you waste your limited resources. A power audit isn't optional. It's the key to knowing what you absolutely need to power versus what you can live without until the grid is back online. Start by listing every device you plan to use in an emergency, from your fridge to your phone charger. For each item, note how many watts it consumes and how long you plan to run it daily. Multiply these two numbers and you'll get the watt hours required per device. Add all your devices together and you now have the minimum capacity your system needs to support. Here's why this step matters so much. Without an accurate understanding of your power demands, you'll overburden your backups and drain them before the big stuff, like preserving food or running medical devices, gets its turn. A thoughtful power audit keeps you disciplined and avoids rookie mistakes. Efficient devices play a huge role here. Swap out traditional light bulbs for LEDs, which use a fraction of the power. Look for low wattage appliances, especially for essentials like fans or heaters. Lower energy use buys you more time, which is the ultimate goal in a prolonged blackout. Finally, document everything. Keep your power audit written down and accessible, so you're not doing math by flashlight at 2 a.m. when the battery starts to die. A written plan saves both time and resources when chaos strikes. Or practicing system use. Having the perfect gear means nothing if you don't know how to use it. Blackouts are not the time for trial and error. You need to understand your power system's strengths and weaknesses before they're put to the test. Practice starts with setting up your solar panels, connecting your generator or battery banks, and charging your devices under non-stressful conditions. Test your system's limits by running the appliances you'll be using during an actual outage. This includes everything from your refrigerator to your emergency personal devices. Better to discover now that your generator can't handle certain loads than when there's no turning back. While you're at it, ensure every cable, adapter, and outlet is accounted for. The last thing you need is to discover a crucial connector is missing or damaged in the middle of an outage. Stock extras for commonly used components like USBs or DC cables. Another key practice step is figuring out recharge times. How long does it take your solar generator to top off under ideal sunlight? What about in cloudy conditions? This is vital information for rationing power effectively in extended emergencies. The bottom line is simple. Don't place blind faith in your gear because you bought the right model. Know it, test it, and push its limits in advance. When the lights go out, confidence in your setup will save you time, effort, and a lot of frustration. 5. Cooking and heating, off-grid essentials. When the grid goes down and blackouts stretch for longer than a couple of hours, staying fed and warm becomes a top priority for survival. Without preparation, you're left cold, hungry, and dangerously vulnerable. Off-grid cooking and heating aren't luxuries. They are life-saving essentials. This guide dives into what you absolutely need to master to make it through any emergency. There's no sugarcoating it. If you fail to plan now, you'll pay for it later. 1. Cooking with propane and alternatives. When it comes to off-grid cooking, propane camping stoves should be your first choice. They are reliable, powerful, and easy to use. Stock up on multiple extra canisters. Don't be caught with an empty tank in the middle of a blackout. Cooking simple meals like soup, rice, or even heating canned food is quick and efficient with these stoves. They deliver steady heat and don't require the time-consuming setup that other methods demand. But propane doesn't last forever. When you've burned through your canisters, you need backup options. Alcohol stoves come into play as an accessible alternative. They're portable and run on affordable denatured alcohol, which stores well for the long term. Another highly efficient option is a rocket stove. These stoves use small amounts of wood or biomass and are not only budget-friendly but also incredibly fuel-efficient. They allow you to cook with minimal resources, something you'll appreciate when supplies are running low. Remember, emergency cooking has one goal: keeping things simple and efficient. Forget gourmet recipes and focus on meals that are calorie-dense and easy to prepare. Always use these stoves in well-ventilated areas to prevent dangerous gas buildup and have basic tools like pots, pans, and wind-resistant lighters ready to go. The takeaway? Propane gives you convenience, but having alcohol and wood-burning alternatives ensures you're not stranded if the outage drags on. 2. Staying warm with indoor heaters. Cold weather blackouts are brutal. Without proper preparation, staying warm becomes a fight for survival. For indoor heating during emergencies, your best ally is a portable heater rated for indoor use. Like the Mr. Heater Buddy, it runs on small propane canisters and is built with safety in mind, featuring essential failsafes like oxygen depletion sensors. However, its safety features shouldn't make you complacent. Any propane device produces carbon monoxide, so detector is mandatory. If you don't use one, you're playing with fire, literally. To maximize efficiency, focus on isolating a single room for warmth. Choose the smallest room in your home, preferably one without too many windows. Seal off any drafts with towels or duct tape, and keep the door closed to conserve as much heat as possible. Don't think you can heat your entire house. It's a waste of energy and supplies. Layering up your clothing does more than you think. Invest in quality thermal underwear, thick wool socks, and insulated blankets or sleeping bags rated for cold temperatures. These items amplify the limited heat your room heater provides, ensuring your body retains warmth. Pair this with strategic layering. Think a base layer, middle layer, and wind-blocking outer choice, and you'll prolong your comfort even when resources run thin. Preparation is everything. Test your heater in advance under controlled conditions to ensure it works as expected. Stock extra fuel canisters, know how long each one lasts, and have backup heat sources in case the primary one fails. Staying warm may seem basic, but it's anything but easy without proper planning. 3. Using fireplaces and wood stoves safely. If you've got a fireplace or wood stove, it can be a game changer during an extended blackout. It acts as both a heat source and a cooking surface in some cases, but here's the catch. Using them isn't as straightforward as lighting a match and throwing wood on the fire. Poor management of these systems can end in disaster, from smoke inhalation to unwanted attention. For fireplaces, your first priority is maintenance. If the chimney hasn't been cleaned, forget about using it. It could lead to a fire hazard or dangerous creosote buildup. Use proper, seasoned firewood that burns efficiently and produces less smoke. Wet or green wood is a no-go and will create unnecessary smoke and soot. Wood stoves are more efficient than standard fireplaces, producing concentrated heat. They can also be used to boil water or heat supplies if you have the correct cookware. However, they require just as much care. Misusing or overloading a wood stove can lead to overheating and a fire you may not have the tools to put out. Another critical point, smoke attracts attention. Whether it's nosy neighbors during a short-term blackout or opportunistic scavengers in a long-term crisis, visible smoke is a signal that you have resources. Consider cooking discreetly and burning at times when it's less noticeable, such as at night. Always have a stash of wood ready to go, stored in a dry location. Fireplaces and stoves are fantastic assets, but come with their own risks. Respect the dangers, practice safe usage, and ensure you've got carbon monoxide detectors in place to make these tools work for you and not against you. 4. Practicing gear use. Reliability is built on familiarity. If you've never tested your cooking and heating equipment, you're setting yourself up for failure when emergencies hit. Learning in the moment wastes precious time, creates unnecessary frustration, and could even turn deadly. Practicing the use of your gear is non-negotiable. Set aside a weekend to simulate an off-grid situation. Cut the power, avoid your electric appliances, and rely solely on your propane stove, alcohol burners, or rocket stove for cooking. Discover how long it takes to boil water, how much fuel you consume, and what meals are feasible with your setup. This step eliminates surprises when you're already in survival mode. Don't forget proper ventilation during practice. Safeguards often skipped when you believe it's just a test. For heaters, understand their runtime limitations and how much fuel they require to sustain optimal warmth. Practice isolating and sealing off a room in your house to see how efficiently it retains heat. Test your carbon monoxide detectors to ensure they're functioning properly. The last thing you need is a preventable accident because your device batteries were flat. And practice doesn't mean just you should know, it's a household affair. Everyone under your roof should understand how to operate the gear and handle emergencies safely. If the stove malfunctions or propane runs out, every person should know the backup plan. Preparation isn't a one-time event, it's a process. Testing your setup regularly is the only way to expose flaws, correct mistakes, and adapt for future challenges. When blackouts strike, you'll thank yourself for taking the time to be ready.